Before you is a shrine in memory of one of the bravest men to ever live. Located in Cardiff's Mermaid Quay, thousands of people from all over the world come each year to pay their respects to one Ianto Jones. He gave his life in defense of the earth against an alien threat. And the fact that Ianto Jones is a fictional character from the BBC Doctor Who spin-off Torchwood does not diminish the pain of his loss in any way. Join me now for a moment of silence. Right, enough of that. In the last episode, I took you on a tour across southern England, showing you some of the unexpected natural beauty of the area. Today, we're heading north to a place that has long fascinated me for its unusual language, culture, and people. I'm talking, of course, about Wales, not generally a place that end-to-enders detour to on their cross-country trips, but having been to Cardiff once before, the capital, I knew I had to come back to this beautiful seaside city and, hopefully, see more of the area. Cardiff is famous for its ties to the children's author, Roald Dahl, and was home to the Doctor Who experience at the time of recording. The Doctor Who experience, an entire museum dedicated to history's longest-running science fiction TV show, closed a few days after I attended, but I'm glad I got to see it. Since I was a kid, Doctor Who has meant a lot to me. This silly little TV show gave me such a sense of wonder and an urge to explore and to do good and to help others. Doctor Who molded me from a lost and confused little child into a lost and confused adult. But I'm not here to be a downer, so let's move on to happier content. The dingy industrial wasteland that is Port Talbot. This small town, not far outside Cardiff, was put on the map by one very famous resident who I came especially to meet. No, not him. Who do you think I am?
Good morning.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Hi, Kellyn. Good afternoon. Oh, should I say good morning? Yes, good morning.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, come on to the left-hand side. This is my reception area. Would you care for a cup of tea or coffee?
Tea would be lovely.
I have got tea. I just remembered I only got coffee. In September 1986, Barry Kirk, as I was then, I decided to create a world record attempt. And I utilised the idea of immersing myself in a bath of cold baked beans. It's obviously been done before, pardon the pun, and I just wanted to create a world record that perhaps now is unbeatable. So I set a target of 100 hours in a bath of cold baked beans way back in September 1986. But when I came out of the bath of baked beans, for charity purposes of course, we managed to get some money to be bought for a minibus appeal for some special needs and children. and I was very proud of that. And when I got out of a bath of baked beans, it put me right off not only laying in a bath of beans but eating them. So I went through this period that I could not smell or eat baked beans, which I think, between you and me, I thought would be the end of all things related to baked beans. And anyway, I decided then to create this character, a superhero based persona that I could link up with my charity fundraising within my area of Port Talbot, because I've always been interested with superheroes. So I tentatively went to a costumier and said, look, I want to be a superhero by chance. Could you mock up a superhero costume? So I called myself Captain Beany. Predominantly I was interested in running. I was fortunate enough to venture to America, Europe and in this country as the proverbial runner bean, pardon the pun. And so I went to all of America with my Big Bean passport, believe it or not, because after the Big Bean bath in '86, I changed my name by default to that of Captain Beany officially in May 1991. And after the passing of my late mother, I decided to take over the tenancy of my flat and tastefully do it out in the orange, as you can see. And not only that, I contrived a living room into my Bakery Museum. I've also got a Heinz kitchen and a Branston bathroom. And people come in here to have a photograph taken sitting on a throne, holding up a very convenient, which I shall show you. No farting allowed.
Your head.
Yes.
What is the story with your head?
Back in 2014, it was my birthday, believe it or not. I'm 60 years of age, and I approached my local tattooist and said, look, I got this half-baked idea of raising money for this young girl. So we had the tattoo done, and I went out and I said, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to sponsor the baked bean? How much is it? Well, I thought I'd keep the relevance to £60. So anyway, if you do the multiplications, 60 times 60 beans is £3,600 for this young girl to have an operation as part of an ongoing appeal in Bristol. And I'm pleased to say, after the years since the head of Big Beans tattoo, she is tentatively walking now after the operation, as she unfortunately contracted cerebral palsy. And it's amazing to think, throughout the aforementioned future, one day when I'll be sitting in an old folks' home in my orange wheelchair, I'll be having a tentative tap on the shoulder and say, Captain Beany, my initials on there. And it's like, who on earth are you then, eh? So this is on for life. And I think it's the icing on a bean cake. You know, been there, done that, got the tattoo.
I had been very apprehensive to meet Captain Beany at first, a man who had organised his entire identity and home around baked beans. But I left feeling uplifted and light-hearted. The weirdo didn't murder me and dump my body in some Welsh landfill, but rather welcomed me with open arms. I felt energised and ready to continue the next leg of my tour. Of course, no railways actually run from southern Wales to the north, so to get to my next stop I actually had to detour back into England for a spell, but it was very much worth it. On an impulse, I stopped at the northern Welsh town of Conwy. This part of the UK isn't isolated by any means, but train traffic is nowhere near the levels of the main lines, so unless you signal for a train to stop, like some kind of hitchhiker, you won't be leaving Conwy via rail. The town is surrounded by a fascinating medieval wall, with narrow cobbled streets and a fun seaside kind of atmosphere. One of Conwy's claims to fame is supposedly the smallest house in Britain, guarded by a woman in traditional attire. You pay a few pounds to enter, but the smallest house in the country also makes for the shortest tour in the country, so maybe it's not for everyone. All along the water's edge, I noticed something curious. Families were catching crabs, and I decided that I just had to give it a go. For better or worse, I did not catch any crabs in Conwy, and soon made my way onward to a place I had wanted to see for years. The town of Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll I promise I know this. The town of Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll I mustn't actually even look at the script. I know this. Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll The town of Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll. I promise you. I promise. I know this. I've known it for years. I practiced it. My mouth is ready for this. The town of Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogger Huirdrobl Llantysilio Gogogoch. Yes, that is 4 L's that you saw, and yes, I nailed it. Apparently adopted its famous mouthful of a name to draw tourists in the 19th century. But it was a Sunday, and small towns tend to close up early on Sundays, especially when the Sunday is as wet and rainy as the one that I had arrived on.
In a song, and you will soon be saying it if you simply sing along. Llanfair, Pwllgwyngyll, go get a chwyrn, drobl llan, Tysilio, go, go, go.
A quick stop at the gift shop was all I could manage, but still, I'm glad I went. Wales, the land of rolling green hills, beautiful seaside towns, and very funny place names, will forever hold a special place in my heart. And so I boarded the train to Liverpool, which we will explore in episode 3, bidding farewell to Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogger Huirdrobl Llantysilio Gogogoch.
Llanfair, Pwllgwyngyll, go get a chwyrn, drobl llan.